settle squabbles with the goggles, battle like full throttle. Bugs to gobble, don't have to ask. She puts on the mask to face each task, ready to face an attack, won't come in last.
Welcome to Salazar Art Nation. This is Frank, and a few days ago, might have been a few weeks ago by now, on TikTok, I saw a local art teacher take this bucket of ideas, that's what it was called, and what it is, his art students will draw on a piece of paper, they'll draw ideas, and each day he picks out a prompt and he'll draw it on the whiteboard. But one day he happened to share that process. Usually he's just drawing on the whiteboard and you're seeing, the prompt for that day. And I thought, hey, I want to try that. So I just used his art prompt, which was aquatic animals. Well, this is a video of what I drew. I drew that aquatic animal, my choice, twice. I did two versions. And I also drew something else. These are some drawings I did, and I just wanted to show that. I sketched out what I'm going to draw on a scrap piece of paper. I drew two platypus and also sketched out a girl, so I'll be refining those drawings. Stay till the end because I have an update on my leg. I wanted to do a superhero-esque platypus, but it was looking like Perry the Platypus, which is cool. I like Perry the Platypus. And it was also looking like Darkwing Duck. But for this version, I was going more for the shadow. Although, if you didn't know this, Darkwing Duck's outfit is inspired by the shadow. So this is a shadow platypus, or
Shadow of the Platypus.
It is clear to see that a lot of my inspirations come from things like comics, superheroes, pulp action novels, stories, anything really fantastical. I like things with animals or things that wouldn't normally be sentient, where they are the sentient beings. I was a fan of the movie Howard the Duck, even though it didn't really do that well in the box office. But I like that concept, and I like that there is an alternate Earth where ducks are the main species. Well, for this imaginary world where it's not just platypus, I like to think it's many animals or many other things, but platypus is just one of the things. So I like to think there's at least a city. There might be more, but at least a city where platypus are just walking around and they happen to have this superhero, this dark and greedy superhero, their version of the Shadow or their version of Batman, and he just scours the night looking for vengeance, looking for bad guys that he can put away. So that is a little bit where this comes from, just having that idea but flipping it, and instead of ducks, because that's been done with Darkwing Duck before, and Howard the Duck has a whole world. There is some Perry the Platypus crossover in here in this drawing. It is kind of inevitable when you have a platypus and you add something like a hat or a fedora. In this instance, a fedora type hat on the platypus. I was trying not to do that though, so I did make it a little bit more dark and greedy. And I like to think that this is one of the many residents in this platypus burg. Another resident in either this Platypusburg or the world in general is this Rambo-inspired platypus. So he would be more in the swamps or the jungle. He might stick around areas where there's more water. There's places where he can hide. And well, what if he wasn't actually a trained military soldier, but maybe he was inspired by their version of Rambo, and he just likes to dress like that as he goes to the gym. Maybe he wears his headband at the gym. He takes off his shirt so he can show off his platypus muscles. I like to imagine that maybe this character did train, not just at the gym, just so he can look muscular, but what if he did some martial arts? And that is why he wears the bandana and why he wears uh, these gi-like pants, and that is his tail and not a part of the belt that he is wearing. And maybe one day he will end up in a swamp or jungle and fulfill his dream of being the next action hero. We come to this third and final sketch, which actually was my first sketch. I drew this the day before I saw that video of the teacher on TikTok using his bucket of ideas. So this didn't come from a prompt, but there was a lot of inspiration that went into this drawing. This original sketch came from wanting to draw someone from memory, more specifically a female from memory, just to see if I could draw other female characters. One of the female characters that I draw a lot is Masked Woman. She is in the intro and the outro of this video. Now, I can draw her in different poses. I can draw her without really thinking about what I'm going to draw. She's probably the only female character that I can draw that way. Therefore, I'm practicing drawing other female characters. And right now, the main pose is just a very standard, simple, standing, facing forward pose, but it's a start. The original inspiration did come from a photo that I saw of a friend of mine, and I was just using that as a base to see if I could draw a female from memory. And I had my own details. I gave her some different style boots. The shirt I made almost like a baseball jersey. So I do like how this rendition came out. I also do like the original sketch, so I might go back and draw it as close to the original sketch as I can. Although that might be off camera. And these are the finished drawings. Shadow of the Platypus, Jungle Platypus, and last but not least, the pretty girl. Now stay tuned for the update on my leg. So I was asked to give another update on how my leg is doing. So you can see the comparison. This was the second day that I had injured my leg the night before. So this is how I was moving around. Just limping and hopping and hobbling and leaning against things. And I was in pain. I just wasn't showing it on the outside. I was trying not to show it. But yeah, there was pain. So that was the second day. And this was right now. Now I can move around a lot better. I can even dance a little bit. I'm still trying to be careful. I don't want to injure the other leg. But yeah, I can move around. I can walk around. Now I am feeling 99.9% better. You know, I still have a very minor discomfort, mostly when I'm standing too long, so I just have to sit down for a little bit. So I'm just now being more careful how much strain I put on myself and stuff like that. But I can move around. I can, as you saw in the video, I can dance a little bit. I can, as long as I'm not, jumping off buildings or overexerting myself. Yeah, I can do what I was doing before. So I was just a lot of walking. And I held off on recording this video because I was doing a lot better last week, and I was going to do an update video, like a final update video. But I was waiting on some reports from the doctor because I did go and get an ultrasound on my leg. We knew it wasn't broken because I was moving around. I would have been in pain. I wouldn't be able to even stand up if my leg was broken. But the doctor wanted to make sure that there wasn't a blood clot. So that's why I went to go get the ultrasound. I haven't heard anything from them. If it was something serious, they would have contacted me. And I have been checking the patient portal for any updates because they were just going to send that directly to my doctor. So I'm taking that as good news that I am fine. So that's my update.
He settles squabbles with the goggles, battle like full throttle. Bugs to gobble, don't have to ask. She puts on the mask to face each task, ready to face an attack, won't come in last.